There is one most important thing that causes sellers to fail selling their art on Etsy. Today I'm going to tell you what that is, that thing that I think is going to cause you to fail, how to spot if you're suffering from it, and how to think about getting over it, how to stop falling into that trap. So you're going to want to stick around because I don't want you to fail selling on Etsy. And fair warning, this is a rant, so I might get distracted, I might wander off on tangents. But it's something that I believe is super important. So what is that number one thing that is going to cause you to fail selling on Etsy? And that is your attitude towards Etsy. Now, I am seeing this all the time in teams and groups and everywhere. People have a terrible attitude towards Etsy. Every single change they see, everything that happens is basically Etsy hates you, Etsy's out to get you, Etsy's out to take money off you. Well, I'm not going to say Etsy is the best thing in the entire world, it's amazing. That kind of attitude, that kind of negative attitude is going to cause you to fail. And why is it going to cause you to fail? Mainly because it's going to sap all of your energy. If you are going into this thinking you're fighting against Etsy, that Etsy's a terrible thing, Etsy's out to get you, all the bad stuff, that kind of thinking takes a lot of energy. And it's one of the biggest reasons why people just quit. What's the point? What's the point if we can't win? Now, I'm no Pollyanna. I have my down moments as well. I think things are terrible sometimes. And yes, I wish things were easier sometimes. But if you can change your thinking to understanding what Etsy's all about, really, then it does make it a bit easier. Now, firstly, one thing that people really worry about, think about, is that Etsy's dislikes you. It's holding you back, it's not showing your items, whereas it loves some other people. And I'm here to tell you today, Etsy doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about the big shops. It doesn't care about the little shops. It's not out to hurt you. It's also not out to help you. And hopefully I'll explain that a little more as we go on. The second big negative way of thinking people have is that Etsy's only out for money. This is the biggest one. Every change. Just seeing it just now, as we're going to mention in a future video or possibly a past video, the way YouTube time travels, but Etsy is now starting to roll out rounding up currency conversions. So if your item's shown in a different country, it will round up to a round number. And on every forum I'm on, people are just saying this is a way for Etsy to make extra money. And that's a terribly negative way of looking at it. It's also a bit crazy. If you think they're rounding up a few pennies, Etsy gets a fraction of that. So yes, if thousands of listings sell, they might make pennies. They might make a small amount. But I can tell you that is not the driver of why they did this change. But you are right in some respects. Etsy is out for the money. Absolutely. As are you, as am I. Would you be selling on Etsy if you weren't thinking about making money? But that doesn't mean you have to have a bad business. You are only out for the money selling your items on Etsy. Well, most of us are. That doesn't mean you don't give the customers a good item. That doesn't mean you don't give customers good value for money. And that doesn't mean you don't give them good customer service. Because if you didn't, then people would stop coming back. People would do bad reviews, people would stop buying and your shop would die. So being entirely focused on money actually can mean that you have a really good customer service. You want to do the best to keep the customers coming back, to keep them happy, because happy customers come back, tell their friends, spend more money, give you more money. And Etsy's the same. It cares about its money, so that doesn't mean it's going to do bad things. Now, in the main, Etsy makes most of its money from customers. So it's going to look at what things cause customers to buy the most when it's thinking about making changes. It's not thinking about how it can make a few extra pennies. It's thinking about how it can make more and more customers come to Etsy. It's not really thinking about how it can squeeze some more pennies out of sellers either. Sellers are only important to Etsy if they bring in customers. if they're making sales. That's the driving factor for Etsy here. I know there have been some missteps, like what they're doing with Etsy ads or what used to be promoted listings. But in general, if we look at the reasons why they've made most of the changes, they're about things that make buyers buy more rather than things that cost sellers more. And they have far more data than we do to figure out those kind of things, to figure out what it is that causes the buyers to buy more. And yes, all that data is going to be general. It's not necessarily specific to your shop. So they might make a change that doesn't help your shop. It might hurt your shop a little bit. But overall on Etsy, it helps the platform as a whole. And yeah, that kind of sucks a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it sucks if you're not getting the good stuff, but that's what it is. Etsy doesn't want to rip you off. But if you always think of what they're doing in terms of how is this going to help the customer? Now, these latest changes, this round up to a full number, this is something that looks better. This is a good thing for our shop. And why is that? Because when a buyer in a different country searches for an item, it's been known for years that certain prices, like $9.99 or stuff like that, that has a psychological effect in that it can make customers think, oh, that's less than $10, that's less than £10. Or round numbers can seem to have a little more quality. If it is £10, then you might think, oh, that's an exclusive, that's an expensive, that's a cool item. Your pricing strategy might include that kind of thought process, not just how much profit you need to make, but do you round it up to a full number, or do you round it up to the 99, or I believe 97 is a big deal now as well, because buyers sort of understand the 99 thing. But then when you're seen in different countries, that advantage, that strategic pricing that you just did, that's gone. And your item could be $6.27, which just looks random. It looks cheap. It looks unprofessional. So when compared to another listing, if you've got a $6.27, a 7 and a 6, customers are more likely to pick the round numbers over these random numbers. So Etsy's doing something that encourages buyers to buy more. And they're rounding up, not down, so this means you're not losing out on money. So they did think of us a bit in there as well. They could have rounded down, but no, they rounded up slightly. This is not a bad thing. It was even same with the free shipping debacle. Now, I'm not the world's biggest fan of that, but I know, if we're totally honest, if I'm shopping on another site, I look for free shipping. If I'm comparing two items, I quite often look for free shipping, or at least a site that shows me what the shipping is so I can compare items properly. In fact, just today I was looking to buy a drawing tablet pen that looked really cool, and it's just a little pen, it's nothing of a big deal. And I looked at the prices, and the prices were awesome. I went to the checkout, put everything in. There was no sign of the shipping price until I hit the next button, and it was £20 shipping price for a tiny little drawing tablet pen. So I noped out of there. Now, I agree, in my opinion, it would have been better for Etsy just to make the shipping prices clear, or even just to give a customer the prices including shipping, rather than leave it till they get to the checkout. But it was looking at its data that was saying if you don't have the shipping, if the shipping's hidden and people get towards the cart, they're putting in the cart and they see a horrifically high shipping, they nope out of there. When they nope out, that's not the technical term, but when they nope out of something less, if they already know the shipping before they put it in their cart. So Etsy's not your friend. It doesn't care. The biggest sellers on the platform, I've said before that they're worried about them, but really they're not actually. If the biggest seller on the platform leaves, in fact, we had that happen about a year ago when the biggest seller got shut down. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but what I do know is Etsy's sales didn't suffer because of that big seller leaving. Yes, that big seller had made them a lot of money, but once they're gone, buyers are still buying, buyers are still searching, and they're seeing other things. So somebody else just fills in that space. Somebody else just makes them the same money. Etsy's still been growing year on year. So Etsy doesn't care about the individual big seller. They certainly don't care about the individual small seller. They care about the customers buying more things each time. And if you realize that, if you think the changes aren't to rip you off, the changes aren't to annoy you, they're just to make Etsy more money from having happy buyers. I know it's tough to hear, it's easier to think there's some kind of conspiracy theory there. And if you disagree with me, first of all, leave in the comments what you really hate, but also, if you disagree, if you think Etsy is that bad, if you really hate Etsy, don't waste your energy on Etsy. Sell somewhere else. Do something else. Now, I think Etsy's the best for me. Is it perfect? No, but it's the best for me. And overall, it's an enjoyable experience. It's brought me some really lovely customers, made friends and started careers for me. So it's awesome for me. Not perfect, but it works. But if you don't feel that, if you don't have that interest and passion, it's a lot of work. You're going to have to spend a lot of time on Etsy. You're going to have to delve into all their changes and their strategies and all that kind of thing. So if you don't have a like for the platform, get off it. Leave it. I hope that helps. A little bit of a rant. Let me know what you think, if you would prefer more structured videos or you like a little bit of a ramble sometimes. Anyway, see you next time.